My first guest today is the host of the Social Studies podcast and famously known as Mr.D for his viral April Fool's videos. And my second guest, co-host of the Pretty/Dumb podcast with comedian Courtney Byrd and 1/4 Parlor Tricks of Comedy of Seattle. Excited to welcome Joe Dombrowski and Ricci Armani.
Oh my God, honestly, could cry.
I'm so happy to be here.
I wanted to get all your credits right, guys.
Thank you.
Did great. You missed a couple of mine, but
you missed a couple of mine too.
I had to abbreviate a couple things. I mean, when you have that much, most of the time it's like, no, the guests I do have don't have anything to mention. So it's like,
so you can take their time.
Yeah.
Like you can just shorten their episodes.
Just say everything. What did I miss that you want to talk about, or that I? You're a writer now.
I'm a writer for a TV show coming out later this year called Joy Sauce. I won Tacoma Comedy Club's voice competition last year. I have a huge swinging dick. I have a huge swinging hole.
We've been to the nude beach together. Yeah,
oh my God. It's big on my head, so yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wait.
What? Nothing. Keep going. Just keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. We're done.
What about you, Joe?
I'm on the Z list of celebrities, so that's pretty cool.
It's like an X.
There's like celebrity, like the A list. I like to say my life on the Z list.
The Z list.
Yeah, I'm definitely. I'm not a nobody, but I'm definitely not a somebody.
Well, like you were on
there
before. Mm-hmm. You were on the podcast before, and like since then, you've done a bunch of stuff. Like you did a commercial for
Chevy.
I did a couple.
Yeah.
That day was crazy. So I shot 2 commercials in one day, and they were completely across the country. So I shot a Chevy commercial in Detroit, flew home on a red eye, and filmed an Adobe commercial here in Seattle the next morning. Didn't even sleep. It was crazy. I was like, literally, I'm in 2 commercials this year, and they're less than a day apart. It was nuts. I was like memorizing scripts on a plane. Like it was crazy.
That's wild. Do you like doing TV stuff?
I like the financial stability it brings.
For sure.
But okay, here's the thing. I live for a live audience. I love live entertainment more than anything. I just don't think there's anything like performing live, especially as a stand-up. It's like what does it for me. And I have a lot of creative ideas in TV and film that I would like to bring to light. But the fact of the matter is, it is very boring. It's not what you think it is. It's so much, like for the Chevy commercial, for instance, I had to open a door, not even open it, just put my hand and pull a little bit 17 times. I was like, I'm going to shoot myself. Like, what is happening here, you guys? This is just boring. I had to walk into a building 27 times.
And did you have to like carry the same energy every time?
Yeah. And it's like, I'm like, this is mindless. It's not that creative.
You can see why actors like it, though.
I can. It's great. It's
like if you don't have much of a personality,
yeah,
you just need me to do an impression of something. Yeah.
The cool thing on that shoot was, though, is they did give me creative freedom towards the end. Oh. And that was always in the agreement. They were like, we do at the end want to kind of like let you do your own thing and put your own flair on it just to see what happens. And they used a lot of that part because I knew what I was doing. Like,
was that the one with the dog?
With the dog? Oh my God! I shot 3 commercials last year. No, that was Google.
Oh, okay, yeah. You were the dog's voice.
That one was. Now, you want to talk about entertainment? What I will thrive at is voiceover. That was super cool. I was the voice of a dog in a Google commercial.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And then they called me back, and I did 2 more. I was the voice of a dog. Then I was the voice of another dog, and then I was the voice of a moose.
Why do you like voiceover more?
You can be it's incredibly creative because you see the character that you are. So the moose one was my favorite. It was a baby moose, and he's like, the video that they sent me was so this is kind of for like Google's security cameras type what they have. And it was a moose that was caught on the Google Nest camera. And this baby moose was just like standing there, and the mom was like walking away, not paying attention. And then she like looks back at him, and he just like was like running towards them. Just like, what do you think? And then your creative mind goes, and I was like, oh, he's like being defiant. And then his mom says something to get him like get his ass into gear, and he like runs and he's like, I'm sorry. So like,
So you get to script it.
I did, yeah.
That's fucking rad.
they had like points for me to go, but they're like, just do your thing. And I did. And I was like, this is so cool. It was so fun. And then when the commercial actually came out, I was like, this is awesome.
So do you think like DreamWorks or anything like, if you got the opportunity to do it, because you do have a good voiceover, like some people it's just like natural good voice.
Could cry.
have a good
Thank
voice.
you. Thank you.
You do too. I mean, all three of us, we could probably do something
You
together.
have a really good, deep, resonating. It's great.
Smoker's voice.
Smoker's
No,
voice.
I mean, like, you sound like Lindsay Lohan. Like, no, you.
in
Never.
circa 2000, like 2018, 2017.
Yeah.
Mykonos, bitch.
I
Yeah.
know exactly what you Mean Girls, Lindsay Lohan.
No.
like
Like
earlier than that.
downhill.
Like, down bad Lindsay Lohan. Like,
Oh, the fucking
losing
like,
her mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like has a
that
cigarette
makes
in her
me feel
hand at
less
all
happy.
times.
Yeah. But voiceover is super, it's fun, creative, and I would love to do something like that. I don't think that I'd ever want it to be my mainstream source of income and entertainment, but like I would love to be doing more voiceover. Maybe like one voiceover project a year would be so fulfilling for me.
All right,
rad.
Pixar, get him.
Yeah,
Come
exactly.
get it.
Plugging it
Yeah,
for
that's the
Pixar.
dream for sure.
Before we move on, I got to say quick, I forgot. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit the like, share, subscribe button and the notifications bell so you don't miss our content. Ricci, this is your first time on the pod.
This is my first time on your pod.
I meant to have you with the Parlor Tricks guys when they came through.
Oh, that would be a good one. All three of you guys. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Well, there's
There's 4 of us now.
4 now, but
Who's
at
the
the
fourth?
time there were 5.
It's Jamal.
Oh, wait. Then who was the fifth that isn't? Oh, never mind.
He
We're
must
enough,
not
enough.
be named.
We're done. Sorry. This isn't good.
I don't know the story there, so and we don't need to air it
Yeah,
out
I was
here.
like, I prefer not to speak on internal affairs right now. Thank you so much for your time.
Look what I did.
It's an easy mistake. But you've been doing writing stuff. You guys are doing stuff together too on the road, right?
Yes.
Us?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Ricci features for me quite a bit, actually. You just hosted my Everett, Bremerton, Seattle shows, and then Ricci will be featuring for my Salt Lake City and Boise shows.
Mm-hmm.
Was the Everett thing through Corey?
Corey he worked on the project. Yep.
Yeah. I ran into him. He was telling me just like how fucking awesome that was.
It was the space
so
was
cool.
gorgeous. And the footage, did you see the footage?
I did,
Came
yeah.
out so well.
Everything was so much fun.
the
And
promo of it, or the thing was that what you were
Behind
talking
the
about?
scenes,
It was
yeah.
really good.
Yeah, he did great.
It's of you guys on the ferry.
Yeah.
Oh my
there was so much that like didn't get put into that because we filmed so much more on the ferry, but like we had a blast.
we
It
had
was a
so
great
much fun.
weekend.
Yeah. I almost missed that ferry too. I almost missed
You
that
did.
ferry.
Oh my god, which means
Yeah.
you would have missed the show.
Would have been a nightmare, but I had a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah, we road
awesome.
dogs together every now and then.
Has it been weird sort of knocking the rust off with like, are you back to normal now? Because you were both of you guys were working together quite a bit before the pandemic, and then it stopped.
It felt very like, yeah, I don't even feel like there was like a lot of rust to shake off, to be honest. Like being together again, right?
No, Ricci and I only met maybe a year before the pandemic happened, and we became friends very, very quickly.
So
And-
quick.
And then in the pandemic, we continued to do a lot of virtual stuff together, virtual shows together. We just we're constantly each other's champions, kind of like pushing each other to keep going in comedy and writing and doing things. And then I always said this about Seattle comedy in the pandemic. It was going to flush out the bad people who aren't dedicated and don't want to succeed in comedy, but the ones who are good and want to continue to do this will come up on top when it's over. And it is. And you can see that in Seattle right now. There's so many amazing independent shows popping up.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many, there's more talent than I've ever seen. And there's a lot of people starting for the first time who will eventually get really good. But I always knew that Ricci would continue and I mean, like you too, Adam. Like you're still performing just like you were before.
Yeah, I'm just stoked because it feels like exactly what you said. Like all those people that were not really in it for the right reasons, I guess is probably the right way to put it. Like I can say that really shitty, or I can say it kind of nice. Like there just was this injection of like people that were passionate about comedy and then taking it seriously and then supporting one another. I mean, like all of us are, there's not a lot of...
You can say it. We're friends.
We are. I mean, but when I came into Seattle comedy, it was not that way. Like, it was just very divisive, and like, you're with this group or that group. And like,
I was literally just telling Joe this too, that like, I enjoy the fact that there's community here. Like, we all kind of know each other and we're all friends with each other, even like the different tiers of like what you're capable of. Like, we all kind of like intermingle to some degree. And I like that.
Yeah. You were just in New York. Because my experience in New York was kind of the opposite of that.
So when I was in New York, I felt the same way. I was like, oh, it's like no one here knows each other. No one wants to talk to each other. Like, they didn't do like the fist bump thing in between people going on stage. And I was like, that's fucking weird. And like, I remember Jamal went up and he was like, I put my fist up to that guy and he just saw it and he ignored it. And
really?
Yeah. And I was like, that's crazy. But New York gave me an appreciation for like what we have here in Seattle.
Yeah, I definitely feel the same. But it's a different culture there. I think once you're established, it's way different. Like at least I had like Wilfred Padua talking about it. And he's like, I'm friends with some of the funniest people in the world. Mm-hmm. And I think once you're like really in New York, because you have friends out there. Like, I'm sure your experience, like, it's different when you're at those like lower level shows versus like, I mean, you did fucking Caroline's, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the difference between, like, to say what kind of a little bit of devil's advocate is, I love that about New York, and I think Seattle needs more of it, because one of the things that we do here is it's way too, everybody has a shot, everybody gets stage time, everybody has a chance, and New York is prove it. You can have a minimal stage time until you prove that you can get more. And here it's like, you'll do your first 3 minutes and then next thing you know, you have 15 minutes on a 5-person showcase. And I'm like, I'm so sorry, you will get good, but right now you're bad.
Yeah.
And you need to earn that spot, which is what New York does. Now the camaraderie and the community and the things that we do have here in Seattle, great.
But like, why can't we have both? Like, why can't we have that? Like, we can all be friends, but like learn to do a tight 15. Like,
yes. I just think Seattle needs to be a little bit more realistic with where you're at in comedy and what it takes to get to the next step, because we're not.
I will say, I will say I agree with Joe on that part too. I do think that like there's a lot of that in Seattle where it's like, oh, like you're brand new and you're like, you meet all these check boxes, you should do this show. And it's like, okay, I guess.
Like, remember when you guys were in that writing group?
Yes.
I will say this. Things like that, you're working to get better. So like people who are doing things like that will naturally get better. They're dedicated, like give them more time. Mm-hmm. But like, I'm done seeing an open micer. Next time they do a show, have it be 15 minutes.
I just think that like, get good and like put talent first. I feel like that's like the big thing is like, can you like prove that you're funny before you get on a showcase?
It's a tricky thing though. I hear what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying, but at the same time, I was a recipient of that, and I'm now at a place where like I did shows at the Stand in New York versus indie shows and everything. There was not a show where I was like, oh, this is way more than I can do. And I was like, fucking Norman, Ari Shaffir, Nick Mullen. I followed those guys, and like I never would have been prepared for the amount of time I've been doing comedy, for the experience, and like I've been very lucky. I think it's what you do with those resources. Like if you say you are brand new and you did 3 minutes and then you just sit on that 3 and don't do anything to get better, that's a much different thing than like the person that's like out every night fucking trying to like be a part of the community. Like what they've done with Parlor Tricks, like
I know
it's incredible. And that's such a different thing than like somebody just like, now I'm a comedian. Like I did 3 minutes.
Talent first. This is the other thing too. It's like, okay, New York, you know, if you're going to a comedy show and you're paying for that ticket, it's most likely going to be good. You know that, New York, that's the culture. Here, if we keep putting up and allowing bad shows to happen, we're not training Seattle that we have talent, that comedy in Seattle is great, which it is. We have a lot of really great comedians who need to be on stage more. But if we keep inviting the city to our shows and they're going to a show and it's bad, they're going to not come back and they're going to be like, Seattle's comedy is not great. But if we take the initiative to lead with talent first.
Yeah.
Then we will create that culture of when you come to a comedy show in Seattle, it's going to be good. It's going to be fun. You're going to have a great time. And then people bring people, and now it's a thing.
Mm-hmm. And it would help with the audience having like a better understanding of this is comedy too. Like right now, Seattle audiences come in and everybody has their concept of what comedy is. And it makes it hard to be yourself on stage. Like there's a tendency for a lot of people to like, oh, I need to play to these Seattle audiences and shit. Whereas in New York, it's like, this is me. And if you don't like me, I'm not like, this is who I am. Mm-hmm. Whereas in Seattle, it's more like, okay, I'm going to start catering my act to this region, and then you get outside that region, it doesn't work for shit.
Right.
Did you have that issue in Chicago and New York? Because like when I was in Chicago and New York, I did some jokes where I'm like, oh, this is definitely like a regional thing, like where it like didn't hit the way that it was supposed to. And I was like, oh, wait a second. This might just be something that I accidentally did. I didn't know that I was catering to the Seattle audience.
Exactly. I mean, you with touring too, I'm sure there's stuff where like that's what helps so much with like working across states is you're thinking about your material differently.
Oh, yeah, and like you notice it immediately. Like in some cities, they will be like so down to mess around with this one joke, but you'll do it in like San Francisco, and they're like, maybe not this time.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just in Central Washington this week, and I went up, and it was a show. Like I knew the show wasn't going to be like the best show I've ever done, but I was like, okay, I'm going to go out there, do 20 minutes, like stretch, get in front of an audience I don't normally do. And I go up there, and it's like half the audience was wearing like Korean war hats.
Oh, beautiful.
And I'm like, this isn't the audience I want to perform for. You know, like it's not my preference to be at like an Eagles club or like a American Legion or whatever. But like, I'm not
at the Eagle. What?
Oh my God.
I know. I keep going.
We'll train you later.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I need to know more of that. But it was like Make America Great Again convention there, basically.
Yeah.
And
they looked at you and they were probably like, yeah.
They exactly like they're like, I like what
come on, boys.
They were like blue eyes, shaved head.
Yeah,
Let's get it, boy.
That mouth.
Where are you leading us?
Show us that big old revolver, motherfucker. Show us that. That was what happened. Here's the thing, though. I'll say this. You never know who's going to be a fan.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I love to perform for audiences who I'm like, this probably isn't my demographic. My Caroline's show, first night Thursday. Thursdays are a hard show. Front row. Okay, my demo is millennial moms. You come to my show, it's a sea of millennial moms. A lot of them are doing mom's night out. A lot of them are doing, we're away from our husbands. It's time to get liver failure. Front row, full table, 7 Wall Street bros. I'm talking ties loosened, fucking whiskey straight.
Coke in the pocket.
Oh, for sure. Just like perfectly coiffed hair, good looking Wall Street bros. And I'm like, you have to break them immediately or you'll lose them. Mm-hmm. So the first thing I said when I went out on stage, I was like, so who the fuck are you? And they just died. And I was like, have you guys looked around? You don't fit in here. Let's get down to it. Sat down at the table, interviewed them all. Just crowd work the fuck out of it. Yeah. That show was just about over a month ago, maybe 2 months ago now. One of them wrote me yesterday and they were like, we were the Wall Street Bros and we will be fans for life. And I'm like, that's what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
Because you don't know who's going to be a fan. You can't like judge them. So even though like you went into that environment too, like if I went into that environment, I'd be shitting my pants for sure. But like, you know, one of those guys like sucked a little dick back in the day and he would fucking roll with Mr.D's gay shit. Yeah, what is on my
you
face?
have like shit swinging around
my
your
beard
face.
is literally
I thought
Velcro.
that was a fly.
Wasn't a fly. It was just my...
But isn't it like more rewarding to get that table? Like,
yeah,
because you know you can get your fans.
It was the most rewarding thing. I gotta tell you guys this. Richie's been watching me work on this joke. I do this new joke about guns in schools, which is dicey.
Oh yeah.
it's so good because like it's an important joke for me. It's like the message behind it is how fucked up what's happening is, right? Somebody wrote me 2 or 3 days ago, and they were like, they saw my show in Philly, which was last weekend, and they said, your guns in schools joke was so smart, needed to be said, and also hilarious. Well done. And I was like, I'm gonna fucking cry. I was like, that's all I wanted. Like this is the joke. You get it. You get it. And I was like, hell yeah.
That feeling of like, it's so, that's worth more than like money, you know, like of any kind.
Well, let's not get fucking ahead of ourselves. Baby's trying to pay the mortgage.
That feeling's not paying my rent. Yeah.
Right. I mean, when you resonate with somebody like that, it's just so cool as, I guess, artistically or creatively, like that you created that thing and that's how much they enjoyed it.
I think what even more over, like as comics, you're constantly, people are coming up to you like, that was so funny. You did great. And you're like, what is that? Okay. Like, but like, what does that mean to you? And when they like broke it down on a molecular level to tell me that they like understood what I was saying and I didn't actually say it, but they got it. Like, I was like, this is it. Like, this is my fucking zinger. I love it.
It's so rad.
I'm so proud of that joke.
Did you just send him the link to like subscribe to your Patreon?
Yeah, my OnlyFans, 100% right away.
Wait, you don't
Just
have an
your
OnlyFans.
Venmo. Yeah.
You don't have an OnlyFans, do you?
I really want one.
Do you?
Kind of.
What would it be solo or?
I mean, like, I'm down for whatever. Like, I don't think I would actually ever do it. I think I talked to you about this, right? And you were like, don't do it. It's going to hinder you. But I have considered it a lot. Like, a lot.
Is there like, I wanted to talk, I mean, I guess we've gone through.
You wanted to talk dirty to me.
Yeah, any of Joe's fans that are watching through the algorithm, this might take like a pretty aggressive shift in terms of explicit stuff.
I see the side of me you've never seen.
Wait, explicit stuff? This is my time to shine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Take it away, Ricci
This is
Armani.
all me. Yeah.
So I wanted to talk about like gay dating culture a little bit.
It's awful.
Is it really bad?
I mean,
it's very like transactional.
it's I mean, like, what's your specific question? Let's start there.
Let's go. Let's break
So
this down.
I had my friend John on to talk about gay culture, like gay dating culture, and just how like kind of savage it is. Just fucking like hit it and quit, or just like everything is transactional, like you said.
Are you talking about gay dating or gay hookups?
Both. Like
well, hookup culture
okay.
is like separate.
Yeah.
Is
'cause
it?
That's like a whole nother thing. Yeah.
And then there's people who are like, they are looking for a hookup and they're like confusing that with wanting to date. So then like they go to date, but really they just wanted to fook. And then they do. And then the other person's like, but I wanted to date. And that's like the most common love story.
And then there's like the opposite problem too of like, you think that you want to like just hook up and you're like, oh no, I was like craving intimacy. I was craving connection. I needed that instead. But I was trying to substitute it with something else.
Is it more or is it more common to just do hookups and stuff?
I think that's subjective.
You think so?
Yeah, it's unique to the individual.
But for you grew up in the Midwest, and I mean, Detroit probably isn't like a hotbed for that stuff. Like how was it for you growing up?
Fine. Totally fine. I mean, like, not totally fine. Like, it was very hard. There was like haters and shit like that. And there it wasn't like a Chicago, but the Detroit gays roll hard. Them was my bitches. Like, we had a lot of fun.
Isn't that
and got in
funny?
a lot of trouble.
Isn't that funny though, how you said it was fine when it's like, it wasn't always
it
fine.
was not at
but
all.
it's like, we as gay people have been like programmed to believe that like, well, if I wasn't like bullied or beaten to death, it was fine.
Oh, right. Like if I told them what it actually was, they would have been like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But like in our gay spectrum, like it was
We're like,
people are like, oh, peasants change.
Yeah, literally. And I think that
Yeah.
that's like the weirdest thing. That's one of the weirdest things about growing up gay is like, we just accept that like, it's gonna be hard at some point. And we're like, this is it.
So now when the baby gays are like crying because someone said something to them online, I'm like, bitch. Have you ever had paint thrown at your beautiful sequin blazer that you wore on picture day? You haven't.
So
That didn't happen to
how
me.
much has it changed though for you? Like,
What do you
because
mean?
it seems like that has there's been a big shift just in terms of when I was in high school, like there were gay kids, but it was sort of like, hey, they're not out, or like we kind of knew, but nobody said anything. Like there's one kid, he tap danced in front of like the entire school to AZ Wazy Let's Go Crazy. And everybody, like he ended with like a ta-da into a chair. And we're like,
did anyone clap? Like,
I thought it was fantastic. Okay. I really enjoyed it. Like I want to like see if he's still doing it, because I like tap dancing for some reason. Like I'm sure there were people who were like, what the fuck is that? Like it was just, and that was the Midwest. So has it shift, or did it shift as you got older, or like, because we're in a bubble out here too.
I feel like we were like the last generation though of like, this
not
is
okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Of taboo, of like weirdness.
Mm-hmm. Like I feel like as soon as I hit my early 20s, there was like a huge cultural shift in media that was like, being gay is cool now, everyone. We like the gays. We've liked them for the last 2 months.
I remember like when that happened too. And it was like, no big deal. Yeah. Like you saw gay everywhere.
Mm-hmm. It was like TV and media had gays
April
all the time.
Fool's video?
No. But I do remember
this big shift right around April Fool.
I do remember though people being like growing up and in the neighborhood, like if like a gay couple was to move anywhere in our town, people be like, can you like two guys together with their dog? Can you believe it? And I was just kind of like, yeah, gays live here. You know,
it's even
there goes the
even in the Midwest.
So.
Here goes the neighborhood. What?
Even in the Midwest,
it's like it depends. The Midwest is big, so I'm like I can't say much about Omaha, but like Michigan's a little more progressive, and also depending where you're at,
for sure.
Like the Detroit area, Metro Detroit area, there's good pockets. It's not like here. Like here. This is like a utopia that isn't real. Mm-hmm. It's not real.
I think in 2016 we all noticed that.
Yeah. It's not. This isn't the real world.
Do you like that, or do you dislike that? At least for the
I have a love-hate relationship with it. What do you think?
Yeah, same. I mean, like I think it's cool because like my partner and I want to be dads, and whenever we take a walk, we see like same-sex parents, like all the time, which is amazing because that makes us feel like, oh, cool, we can do this here. But if we were to do that at home, somebody is going to say something inevitably. They still might hear, but they're going to get their ass handed to them by someone who's not us. Mm-hmm. But at home, they're just going to be like, we don't talk about that. Shut
or joke about it.
Right, yeah, you know what I mean? And
criticize it.
Yeah.
I like it for the most part, but I like that I can like be out wandering around at night by myself and not have to worry about getting like gay bashed or anything.
Well, you also carry that crazy ass knife with you.
Oh my God, that's illegal to say. No, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. It's fine. Yeah. No, I'm not afraid of anyone because I will scrap, like for sure. Yeah. I was raised with guns and knives. So
I mean, you were from Tacoma, right?
Yeah, and Tacoma.
Yeah. It's like, that's not a...
It wasn't a place to grow up gay when I was growing up, for sure. Yeah.
Did you hide it or what?
I mean, like, to the best of my ability, like, you can see me. I have been this way my entire life. Mm-hmm. And, like, I'd be, like, walking around like, I'm not gay.
Like, I'm not gay.
I'm not
a dick
I'm not
flies
gay.
out of your mouth.
Yeah. And it was crazy, though, because, like, I remember thinking growing up, like, God, I wish I wasn't this way. I wish I could fit in with everyone else. Like, this sucks. And, like, it's so crazy, like, how early I noticed it. Because I remember watching 90210 as like a toddler with my mom. And there was a character on that show and I would get so excited every time he would get on the show and I'd be like, oh my God, he makes my pants tingle. Like I love him. How old
were you?
I was like 4.
Oh yeah, I remember being little. Like Billy the Blue Ranger was my first crush.
Mm-hmm. Like, and I always was like very attracted to like female heroes. Like, and my parents were like, this isn't normal. There's no way this is normal. Like, I loved Sailor Moon. I loved the Pink Ranger. I wanted to be all of those women and just be like, yeah, I'm fighting crime and kicking ass.
But you also like, you're a gamer.
That's, by the way, there is a whole community of gay people who love video games. It's usually Nintendo Switch. Losers.
They're called gamers. Gaymers.
I mean,
But I play like real video games. I play grown-up video games.
You play Halo and shit.
He's had real video games, bitch. He's had real video games.
I play real video games. Yeah.
Do you game,
bitch? No.
Yeah, you don't have time for that shit.
Come on.
I can't even imagine going over to Joe's place and he's like, hang on, let me just get past this level.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
What do you do to decompress? Because you're
Work
always fucking
more.
Yeah.
Work more.
Seriously though. Like,
Wait, do you, is that really your thing?
What?
Like you just keep working? Do you take time for yourself? You do.
No. It's like
You
insane.
should.
Yeah, I should. It's insane. I hang out with my dog. Like he brings me comfort. But no, it's unhealthy. I'll fully say it's unhealthy. However, it's working. So, I mean, I don't really care.
Does it having like him with you on the road help though?
With having a friend?
Yeah.
Totally. I think the other thing about like, if you're working in corporate America and you were to work as hard as I work, right? I could see where you would just like burn out and die.
That's where I'm at right now.
But comedy is like fun.
Oh, it is.
This is fun. Like I enjoy working this hard.
Gabe Rutledge came on recently. He's like, what job do you have when you show up? It's a standing applause.
Yeah.
Like people
No,
are
seriously.
clapping to your entrance. Like,
It's
when did that
not.
ever become like realistic in the human brain that like that's okay for us to do?
Right.
Like, thank you
Totally.
for being here.
Oh,
I
and
mean,
then the fans are great. And then like I'm going to a different city every week and experiencing their culture, their food, how they live, get out of the gloom, get into some sunshine. Like it's like, and the people at the clubs are usually cool. People who are opening you are like, you want to do some shit? I'm like, yes.
what do you hate though?
About
I mean, like what's part of the lifestyle for you that's just like it's not you don't like you like
I cannot be on the road too many weeks in a row or I'll lose my mind. One of the things that I hate is like I hate not being home in my own bed. That's
I
probably
hate
a
having
big
a
one.
day job.
Yeah, we were just talking
Yeah.
about this. Can I go to the bathroom really quick?
Yeah,
Okay, you guys
absolutely.
just keep talking. I'll be right back.
what is it about the day job though that's like crushing you?
I mean, like, I don't know. It's the fact that like it's not what I want to do with my life and I have to spend 40 hours a week doing it. Do you feel that way about your day job?
I mean, I've gotten better with it talking to people that were in New York and like other cities where I think Andy Haynes said something once. He was like, my problem in life, my two biggest problems is that I'm not rich and famous. Like I'm a comedian but I'm not rich and famous. And like who else in the world is walking around and be like, my life would just be so much better if I was rich and famous. Like it's
Everyone is walking around saying that though.
yes,
Like, yeah.
that's the point. Like it's kind of an absurd mentality of like, in order for us to do this, we have to support ourselves. And the way we get out of that is becoming rich and famous. And it's
so tough.
it's a lottery. I mean, Gabe was talking the last episode about it, where it's like the people that are successful, a lot of times they don't even know. It's like, yeah, I got lucky. Like I had the right things happen.
I feel like
So-
that's a lot of it too, is like, who do you know and what lucky opportunity is being passed your way by chance, you know?
And I mean, you did The Voice down in Tacoma and you won. And like when those opportunities come for you, like you took it seriously and you made the most of it. And
I really did. Yeah.
So, I mean,
And they're like hard work too. There's definitely a lot of hard work that goes into that. Like you can't just be lucky, because you can be lucky and do nothing with that luck.
but you're doing something well too. In
Oh, yeah.
addition, like people like you and that's a skill.
I genuinely think that I would be so much further along if I didn't have a day job. Like if I didn't have to work a day job, because that shit is exhausting, bro. Like, especially like when you're doing something that like, I don't really care about this that much. Like,
How do you balance it though? Because you're like out there
don't.
trying to get laid too, and and like what you're doing this writing stuff.
there was a time in December and January where I was working my day job. I was writing for the TV show, and then I was showing up to set also, and then doing shows. And it was just absolute hell. Like there was like a couple of days where I was on set where the writers needed to be there because we're also acting in the show. And we needed to do like punch ups to scripts like at last minutes. And I would be working my Amazon job on set while being in the writer's room. And then we would like film all of the scenes, which like, yeah, super boring to like film scenes over and over and over again. And then I would go run and do a stand-up show like later that night. And I wanted to die for that whole month where it was just like constantly having to do something all the time.
Well, there are a lot of people too, like in New York, that do that, whether it's like a TV writing job during the day and then they're fucking running to get to the train to then go to a show. And that's not like the most conducive to being funny for me. Those two, like success and seriousness, not like, I don't create well when I'm like that. You know what I mean? It's a weird, you almost need to be in your own version, like where you're comfortable and like playing fucking Halo and like
being in your own reality.
Yeah.
Almost.
And like having time to have relationships with people. A lot of comics I know, the longer they're in comedy, the more the balance seems important.
I think that you need to have balance to find things to talk about too. There was a time when I was just like open mics every night, all the time. And I didn't have time to like experience life to write about new things. So I'm trying to find more opportunities to like live life. And I think I'm getting there.
For you, when you're on the road, how hard is it to like balance the need to like put out new stuff while continuing to deliver?
I mean, I'm always trying to put out new stuff. So I like strategically have a section of my show that I can try new stuff. And if it's not working, I can seamlessly like tie it back together and go with what I was going to do. But I try new stuff all the time. My biggest fear in comedy is releasing a special and then having nothing and having to like still continue to go out there and sell tickets, but like you don't have anything. So I'm constantly like writing and filming, documenting, keeping this new stuff together so that I can eventually figure out where it goes and how it works. So I have other things to go on the road with.
Oh yeah, go for it.
So that's kind of like where I'm at with that.
Well, you said that thing about the new special. Stanhope had this thing in his book. He released a special and he had to headline 3 weeks later.
Oh my God. That literally gives me like, I want to throw up.
He said he was on the plane ride. He was just reading as many newspapers as he possibly could to put together like 45 of whatever. And it ends up building itself. I mean,
it does. The more you perform, the more you get.
Yeah. But there's kind of I had this guy I worked with on Thursday, and he did this thing with the microphone. I had never seen it before, where he like put the microphone on his neck and did an impression of like a smoker. Mm-hmm. And I had never seen that before. And I talked to one of my friends about it. I was like, oh, I like that. Like it was funny. He's like, dude, that in the 80s, they did that all the time. Like it was super common. And it was like, I just fell for hack right there. Like,
you did.
Yeah.
And you brought it back.
Like I was sitting there and was like, I like that. Like I want to use some version of that. And that's the downside of like performing consistently is like you're writing on stage, you're like doing that, but also you can like get sloppy with your work, you know?
Oh yeah. I think Ricci's tour is totally right too. The biggest thing is you have to make an active effort as a comic to get yourself back in nature, back in the wild, like out of the comedy scene, or else what are you going to talk about? Luckily right now, like we just bought a house, we just got a dog, like we're trying to expand our family. Like there are things that are naturally happening at the same time too. But if it wasn't, I would actually up until about a year ago, I was still subbing in kindergarten.
Damn.
Just to get like human interaction and find things to write about and hear and talk about and go for. So
both you guys podcast too. Like, how do you think that affects your just creative process? Do you think it takes from it or adds to it?
Mine's too new to say, to be honest.
What's the name of it again?
The Pretty Dumb Podcast
with
Courtney Byrd.
Okay, just want to make sure she gets. I know
I get Courtney Byrd.
She's been on quite a few times. She hosted for us too.
She's my dog walker.
We can't say enough good things about Courtney.
We do.
She's my favorite person to complain to while podcasting. So that's basically the premise of our podcast is we're just bitching about shit. Yeah.
So do you think it helps with your creative? Like,
I think so a little bit. I've definitely maybe, I don't know. I want to say that it will later, but it's like, it's too new to really say for sure. But I think it's nice that I have something that like kind of grounds me back into like being creative off the top of my head. in the moment because I don't do too much like prep work when I go into it with her.
Well, it's so nice too. We get with these processes, we get to, you were talking about it. It's like 90 side hustles. I get to learn how to use audio equipment and video stuff and build my entire place into this studio. And that's what you really wanted to do when you got into comedy.
Oh yeah. I just really wanted to know everything about sound waves and echolocation.
Pop filters and
unbelievable things you have
lighting.
To do.
It's
editing. That's a big one. Like editing my own videos for so long. I'm just like, why? I never wanted to do this. And it's so time consuming. Then you have to teach yourself how to do it. And then you actually do it. It's like,
just
and then finally you get to the
do
point
a
where
quick promo for video editing over there for us, you know.
A promo for video editing?
Yeah, just like all the positive aspects that
Oh, I know. I'm sorry. It sucks. It takes forever, and it takes every time I would sit when I was still editing my own shit, I would be editing and be like, I could be writing. I could be performing. I could be doing, and that's what it was for me. But you have to.
I remember when I first started doing comedy, I would think like, oh my God, like writing a joke is so hard. And like, not really, like, but it would just be like, oh, this is like such a time consuming process.
How much do you write on stage versus like pen to paper?
Not very much, to be honest. When I write a new joke, I write it out like almost like a story, almost like line by line, like a script.
Yep.
But I'll like make tags happen in the moment on stage. But I don't just go up with just a premise.
Yeah.
Like I can't do like I would like to be able to do that, but for the most part, like I can't do that. But I have gotten really good at crowd work. That tends to be like my go-to thing now. Like every show I do, I'm doing crowd work.
I love it. It's my favorite part.
Mm-hmm. Unless I'm like hosting off the top, I won't do crowd work. But
what about you though?
How do I write? I do the exact opposite of Ricci usually. So you guys probably have it too. Notes section on your phone, endless. I'll star the ones that are really, really good. And I'll like block out like one good setup punch in there. But otherwise I'll like tell the situation and just kind of like talk. I happen to be a kind of funny person at the end. Like, so I just kind of like do my thing and I'll record the whole thing. It'll usually be a bomb, but there's nuggets of good in there. And then I'll watch it back, write those down, and use them with the first one. So next time I do it, now I have two setup punches the next time I go to do it and continue to talk and do filler in between.
It's tricky
and
though.
It just grows.
I think that you are like, and like, I think this is true about like a lot of comics, but like, I think that the people who can write on stage are like funny naturally all the time.
Oh.
And I feel like I have to like work a little bit harder for it, like conversationally. Like I can be funny conversationally, but I don't think that that's like my natural mode.
Yeah, that's funny that you say that too, because I know a lot of very successful comics who are like not funny people. Like when we go out, it's just like we're hanging out and having a great time together, but it's not like rip rolling laughter the whole time.
It's fun versus funny.
Yes.
It's a weird, I fall into that category where I'm just like, I prefer, like if I could just sit here and watch movies all day, it's just like, it's what's comfortable to me.
Right.
But when I get on stage, I can, turn that on.
Right.
It's
different.
But what you were talking about where you come back to this stuff, one thing I've been doing a version of that, but the problem is like you save those nuggets. When you start trying to say things how you said it, that's where like it has to be loose enough to where you're like, I have this idea that I'm working. But when you start like, oh, I need to say it this way, the delivery gets fucked. And then you can't, like it comes out manufactured. Like
for you.
I mean,
maybe it's different. Yeah.
Do you try and re-emulate what you did before?
I've been actively trying not to.
Okay, yeah.
Oh,
okay, because
that was a big problem for me. It was everything felt super rehearsed. So I'm like, that's what I'm working on right now in comedy. Is just like being me on stage and like being looser and like having fun with it. Because I know I can write a joke, but what I can't do is be me on stage. And
but just because a joke doesn't work, like how I said, I'll do something that works. So I go out there with the setup punch and then I hit 2 setup punches. I got 2 good jokes in this bit and I was just riffing and I got the second one, right? That the second one, the third time I go to do that joke, that second joke will only be the second time I did it. So I'll do the joke, but I'll say it differently. I'm not going to say it like the exact same way, or else I'll get the exact same laugh. But that's kind of how I sort of started getting into the repetition of not sounding canned and scripted.
Yeah.
Is like actively saying like, you're going to say this joke different.
Yeah. I'm sort of getting into that right now where it's like I'm getting sick of certain material. So I have to make it fun for me, and you start playing with it, and it makes it better. But it also, the first time I opened last night with like something brand new, and I knew it was gonna be fucking funny. I was laughing when I was saying it. So that's oh yeah.
Oh, good.
And it's just that's my favorite thing. I don't want to like.
Oh, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah. Okay. It's good.
I don't want to burn material on my podcast. I don't want to do that.
I'm so excited about it too. That's
Come to my shows, Joe. I don't want to burn my material. Okay. Can I tell you guys something?
Yeah.
John Marco Cerezi told me the best thing a couple days ago.
Okay.
He's like, burning material is not real. He's like, we live in this age where like you see something once and so many other people don't see it. So like if you post it again or like do the joke again and post the same joke, but a different time you said it, it's like not burning material. And I forget who he said, but he said that another big comic told him, damn it, I wish I remember who it was, told John Marco, you're not burning material until people are quoting you saying it and screaming you to tell it at a show. Then the material's been burned.
I saw that. I've seen that when I went to see Gaffigan in like 2005.
Oh yeah. What's the like one joke? What's the joke of his that they want?
Pockets.
Hot Pockets.
Yeah, but they would yell the punchlines.
Oh,
it was insane.
Oh my God.
They want Hot Pockets from Jim Gaffigan. They want Nails from Angela Johnson. They want Company by Sebastian Maniscalco. Like they want The Machine by Burt Kreischer. These are what they want. And I got to tell you guys, I think my Guns in School is going to be my that. I hope.
Keep going with it.
I mean,
yeah, I want to see
I want that to
the timing of it could be
my
incredible.
Goal is for that clip to be cut out of my special and posted out of context, and for that clip to go huge, and then people go to watch the special. I'm like, please, fucking God, I believe in it. It has all the right elements.
Are you filming a special?
I am. Yes, in December.
Can you talk about who it's with and shit?
I can't talk about who it's with, but the way a special works, this is my first one ever, and it's a lot different unless you're like huge. If you're huge, the networks are going to come and be like, do a special for us. But even people who you would consider huge are still paying for their own specials and then selling it. Mm-hmm. So I'm self-producing my own. We will take it out to network.
Where are you shooting it?
So I'm doing something totally different. I am shooting. It's going to be
at Jai Thai.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yep.
50 crowd.
It's Parlor Tricks Comedy.
Yeah. It's called Joe Dombrowski Gets Canceled is the special. So the special, working title, I don't even know what it is yet. I'm doing the best of my teaching material, but it's a show about a teacher. It's not a show for teachers, right? But I am filming it in the cafeteria of the first school that I was hired at when I was 21.
Damn.
Yeah. So we're like revamping that whole space turn into a comedy club. So the setup is going to be like, I wake up, I'm late for work. You see me speeding to work. I pull up in the parking lot. You're following me, run through the school. I push open the gym doors and there's a full audience dressed up, ready to go. And I hit the stage and do the hour.
What can I ask? Just rough range. How expensive is producing a special?
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah. Is it like
not cheap? Is an answer I can give you right now? Not cheap.
Why is it so expensive though?
There's just so many technical elements that need to go in it, and mine's going to be even more expensive because I'm not using a venue that's already set up for that. Mm-hmm. So I need to bring in sound. I need to bring in lights. I need to bring in the tables, chair, like all of it. So it's going to be fucking insane.
So why not just go the YouTube route of where...
So that is, if it doesn't get picked up on network, it will go on YouTube, which is the worst case scenario, but it's the best worst case scenario I could ever think of because I fully own it. if it goes out on YouTube.
Why not just do that?
I don't know, because I kind of want to make my money back right away rather than be like, I hope it does well and I can make ad revenue on it. But,
I don't know. It seems like the direct relationship with your fan is the most important thing.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that, but I have a really close direct relationship with my fans, and I give my fans a lot of content for free. And if a network is like, I gotta eat, you know what I mean? So and I paid for this special to be created. So like, if a network's gonna throw money at me to buy it, to put it on their platform, it's art. We're artists, right? Like you pay for the supplies, the canvas, everything that you need.
Time and energy.
Right. And then it's in a gallery. Someone buys what you put into it. And that's what I'm doing here.
Their audience too is like, those are all potential new fans of yours.
I would like for it to go on a network too, because the biggest thing that I'm dreading is the YouTube comics. If I have to put it on YouTube,
really?
I'm like, oh God, I'm currently spiraling over comments, but it's not even worth it. But
there's been some terrible ones recently for
this. You.
Yeah. No, I mean, even like I'll put up a video where it's like a comic, like older comic telling an incredible story about like working with a legend or something. And then just somebody's like, that person looks like shit.
Oh,
like why? Like and I get it. It's fun to troll people and stuff. But like I put it on Reddit sometimes too. And like every like 10th comment is just like the shittiest and I just say, hey, thanks for like helping us with the algorithm.
That's what I did recently. I had a comment, somebody wrote, I can't handle the gay voice, and I said, have a nice day. But then this one really got me. Someone said, just like a female, and I wanted to hit this back with a really good joke, but I couldn't craft it together because I was too mad. They said, just like a female comic, not funny. And I wanted to say something. I really wanted to say, like, actually, your mom's hilarious. She had you. But the reason I didn't is because it's a your mom joke. Your mom jokes are hack. I didn't do it.
I don't know. I think it's a pretty good mom joke. I like that.
I should have.
Yeah, you should.
Go back to that comment right now and post it.
That's like levels of it's multi-level political incorrectness too, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like it's that bullshit too. It's an anonymous profile who's doing this on purpose, who is saying this behind the safety of their keyboard. Bitch, say it to my face, because you know what you can't do? You can't stand on stage and command the attention of 500 people for an hour and 10 minutes. You can't do what I can do. Try me, bitch. Yeah. Like, you would never. You would never.
Have you ever had a heckler at your show that like didn't like you?
Yeah. Oh yeah. This girl sat in the front. She didn't like me because I called her fucking ass out too. Ooh, I'm pissed. We're going to go back. The year is 2021. It's at the Tempe Improv in Tempe, Arizona. I'm doing my show. A heckler decides that she's just going to whip out her phone and blatantly film it. I say to her, oh, I don't know if you missed the memo in the beginning, but there's no phones. But you didn't hear that. Must be a teacher, is what I said, because teachers don't listen. The bitch flipped. And for the rest of the show, stood there like this. And whenever I would tell a joke, she would mouth to me, hack, you're a hack. You're a hack. Now, this is why I love comedy, because you got to be fucking smart. Every move that we make is so calculated and intentional. And in this moment, I'm like, this bitch is trying to get you to snap, and you're about to. I was about to kick her in the fucking face. Come for me. You almost got kicked in the face. And I told myself, she's doing this so silently. And these 299 other people have no idea that she's even doing it. Why would you ruin the show for them? So I just let it go. And she eventually got up and left in the middle of the show. And I didn't even give her the attention to say like, oh, you're leaving or bathroom break. Nothing. Nope. Didn't even give her the satisfaction. Because you're fucking dead to me, bitch. I already got your money. Thank you for helping me pay the electricity.
How fucking crazy do you have to be sitting in a room full of 300 people and just be like, meh. Like it to even have
because
that,
you did wrong.
So, yeah, that too.
I corrected you for your wrong behavior. You broke the rule. I called your ass out.
No, this is you.
Oh.
This is all these 300 people behind me.
Adam, I'm so hot right now.
Oh my God, are you getting mad right now?
Yes.
Just thinking about
I
it.
can turn on the air
I can see
conditioner.
your stupid face too going, heck, you're a hack.
It's kind of like educated.
It's methodical.
To say the word hack though. Like,
Oh.
I wouldn't have known that language. I mean, that's a weird thing to like sit in the front and film.
It was
and
so
then-
calculated.
And
right?
it's very insidious too that she did it just like loud enough and in the place where only you could see it. Like
yeah.
that's so insidious.
Yeah, and it wasn't. I don't even know if she was making sound, but she was going, hack, you're a hack. Like eye contact, methodical, insane.
Some people are so sensitive. Like some people are so sensitive. Not you.
But
Sorry.
What do you say?
But here's the thing. Like, okay. Like my students, when I taught fifth grade, fifth graders are the absolute worst because when they go for you, they don't fucking care about anything. They go for the one thing that you're so self-conscious about and they rip it out from under you. Like they'd be like, oh, you have a little bit of a unibrow. God forbid you got a couple hairs on your upper lip, whatever it is. They're not going to hold back. They're going to read it to you. And this bitch did the same thing. She's like, he's a comic. If I say this will hurt him. And she did. And I was like, oh, you're not getting it back because you want this to be your show and it's not.
I don't think people understand too, like when you're on stage, there have been multiple comics that freak out on stage. Like I don't know if you've ever seen the guy with the guitar that hits the guy in the front row, and he's
Wait,
like,
what?
the guy was fucking coming for me. It's like a example of the opposite of this, where like the comic sees a guy up front, and the guy was giving him some shit. He takes the guitar off the strap, turns it around, and full on baseballs. It's incredible. And then the whole audience is like, that was uncalled for. And he was like, guy was fucking coming at me. And everybody's like, no, he wasn't.
Like physically coming at
no, like
okay.
he
Who
was
is
like,
this comic?
It was like an 80s, 90s. I mean,
shit, is way old.
Super, like, it's unbelievable.
Oh,
how
can we
bad
watch it before we leave?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's just incredible. But that's like the opposite of what you're dealing with. But the adrenaline you have when you're on stage, like to control that on it's so hard to just be doing what you're doing to then have that.
I had to be told to stop calling people out for like shit like that because
But who? Because I don't like that they told you that.
no, it's the way that I was doing it though.
Oh.
Like, yeah,
So you were in the wrong?
Not really. Like whenever I was like heckled or people were talking while I was up, I'd be like, what is going on over there? And like Jamal had to be like, hey, you know, when you say that, you sound like an angry substitute teacher. You just ice over the whole room. And I was like,
Yeah,
oh.
he was right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
unless
think you've seen me do it before.
I have, but I never quite made that connection because I'm watching you like on a different parallel. But that is true. I only bring things to attention if I'm sure that the vast majority of the audience also heard it. Like if it's too close, I usually won't bring it because I'm like, oh, nobody else heard this. But if someone from the back like yells or falls or something, it's like you have to address what happened in the room.
It's weird. There was a guy last night. I looked over at him and he was just like looking up at the ceiling, and it threw me off. I was like, "What?" I just turned to him. I was like, "What are you doing right now?" And he looked at me and I was like, "Are you all right?" And he didn't really answer me. I thought it was
on
fucking
drugs.
hilarious.
I
Like,
love that.
I think that's kind of my energy though. Is like if somebody was doing that, I'd come up to them. What the fuck are you doing right now? Like, are you all right? And so it depends. Like if that's your personality, it's like, hey, shut up back there. Then it's fine. But there are exceptions to it. I don't know.
I think saying like, hey, shut up over there is different than being like, what's going on over there?
Yeah.
And demanding an explanation,
Yeah.
you know, because I noticed right away that that's not a good move when it was called out.
You do what you do, Richie.
I had this teacher in high school that would do that all the time. And he's like, hey, what's going on back there? What's going on? And he was doing it as a joke. Like he was like playing it up, but it was so fucking funny when he did it. And he was straight, okay? But he came in every day and
With
he
his
would
dick out.
Dick print for life.
he would come in and be like, is everybody ready for your quizzy poo? And it was like, he was very like the way he said things and the way he smiled, we were all like, I don't know if he's like what's going on here or whatever. Like if he's into guys or into girls or whatever. And he played into it. Like I think he enjoyed the kids not knowing.
He sounds like a sadist. I can't handle him. I can't handle it.
Did you had that story or did you want?
Yeah. Okay.
Let's
so
play the story time music if you're ready.
Yeah, let's play the story time music.
It might be kind of a rougher story, right? It's something you're working
No.
out?
This is like a real story that like actually happened. I can tell it.
Okay, cool. All right. We'll do that and then get you guys out of here.
It's story time. It's story time with Adam. Yeah, it's story time. It's story time with Adam and friends.
Who made that?
I'll get you the names after the.
Got it.
That's a wonderful little jingle jangle.
Yeah, I gotta put it. That's been asked of me like 100 times. I keep fucking forgetting to put it in the show notes.
No, you're doing it on purpose because you don't want to give away your secrets.
It's if you want something like that for yours, we can get it done.
Did you hear that? Daddy Adam's gonna get you whatever you want, baby.
Whatever you need.
Oh, Adam Warbucks, right here, baby.
The weirdest way to start the story time.
Okay, so
Make sure you're like in frame too. Just
Tell us, Mistress
This is your-
Ricci.
this is for all the YouTube haters.
So Adam wants me to tell a story about flipping a straight guy.
Controversial.
I know, but I was so young when it happened. I was so young, so don't picture it because it's illegal to think about.
Okay. I don't even want to know.
I was 14.
Okay, I need to get off this interview.
So I was 14. I was extremely horny all the time. Like all of us were at 14. I was just constantly horny. And I had a best friend and we like kind of like grew up together from like elementary school to like we were now in 8th grade, I think. And it was like that best friend who like lived in the same neighborhood as me. We like did everything together. Like we were like just like young boys like hanging out doing dumb shit all the time. And we used to play like grab ass a lot, you know, like just, you know, dumb boy shit. And one night he came over and he was spending the night and we were watching a pornography. It was a heterosexual pornography, which like disgusting. I'll never watch that again. And I don't remember like how it kind of happened, but somewhere along the line there was like, we were like right next to each other and we were like ourselves, you know? And like, it was like, Joe looks so unamused. What?
Continue.
Wait, what were you doing?
We were like touching ourselves in under a blanket.
Like each other or
No, we were
Okay.
like ourselves and like, you know, like 14-year-old boys do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They do. This I had friends that did this in high school.
Okay, so this is like,
all
yeah.
the time and it was super weird. I never like I
it was,
just,
it was
like,
super weird.
They all like jerked off in the same room.
Did you ever do that?
I don't think so.
Were you in the room when it would happen though?
I would like. I wasn't with that group of friends.
Great.
There was something adjacent that I would.
Would you get like an inkling that it was going to happen? You'd be like, I have to go home.
No, I didn't.
The street lights are on.
I mean, I would have been fine with. Just like, I don't know. I felt like some of my friends like wanted to do that together. Like it was this weird.
I think that there are a lot more guys who want to do that at that age than we realize.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, so we were doing that and like, this wasn't like anything new. Like we had already been doing this with each other for a while, but like somewhere in this one particular time, I think we were like, wouldn't it be crazy if we just like touched each other's wieners? Like, wouldn't that be nuts? And I was like, yeah.
Were you out already?
No,
Okay.
I was still very much like, I love Buffy the Vampire Slayer because I love Sarah Michelle Gellar, which like, no.
That's gay.
Yeah, exactly. Like, no, like that's so dumb. I was so gay. And but I was like, sure, like let's just do it. And then like we touched each other's wieners and then we eventually started whacking each other off for like 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
From like 8th grade to like senior year of high school, we would like randomly do this. Like,
But he was straight.
But he was
Or
straight.
He still is.
I think he still is. I don't talk to him anymore.
He's somewhere on the Kinsey scale.
Yeah, he's out there somewhere. I want, like, the last time I talked to him, I knew that I was like the only guy that he had done that with, but I had already done this with like 3 or 4 other guys. I started pretty early.
That you cheated on him.
Well, I knew that he cheated on all of his girlfriends with me. So
How often was this happening?
for the first 2 years, it was like not super often, and then there was like a weird period of like between sophomore and junior year where it was like a lot, and then senior year it just like tapered off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why straight guys though?
Why do I like straight guys?
Yeah.
I like the fear in their eyes. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Everyone, that's a joke. That's a joke.
So aggressive.
That's a joke. That's a joke, everyone. I don't think I would do straight guys as much anymore. There is one guy that like is like will say
On
that
this
he's
couch.
straight. Yeah. And I'm like, no.
What'd you say?
I said on this couch.
Oh, God.
No, I don't want to put that much effort into it anymore. But there is one guy out there right now who like, he's like, I'm straight. And I'm like, bro, you like, okay. Is this a sign of
Do I
gayness?
know the person?
You don't, but I'll talk to you about it later.
Okay.
But like, do you like, this is like a sign of like gayness, right? The first time I hung out with this dude one-on-one.
They put on the Wicked soundtrack.
Not quite.
Oh, okay.
But he drove me home. This is more of like a sign of curiosity for me. But he drove me home, dropped me off, and when we got to my place, he was like, "So are you top or bottom?" And I was like,
"Ooh,
Huh,
I
that's
don't know. Out of nowhere."
Out of nowhere.
Yeah, that's a red flag.
And then
at
he
least.
And then he was like, "So it's like pretty easy to get laid as like a gay person, right?" And I was like,
Oh,
"Yeah, huh?" And then he was like, "Yeah, like, and you're not like bisexual at all, like." And I was like, "Nope, totally gay," but that's like a sign of gayness, right? Like, or at least like curiosity.
Yeah,
I think curiosity.
I would say that's dipping your toe into you're seeing where this is gonna go.
Yes.
Or
It
they're
very-
on the spectrum.
It gave
One
me-
of the two. Like if he's just like asking that question very like
Earnestly?
logically,
Yeah.
then it might. That's the only.
Like he could just be
exception,
trying
I
to
think.
learn, right?
That- yeah.
Yeah. And like so the
I
reason I,
don't know.
bring
I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Trying to learn.
so like the reason I bring this up is because like these are the kinds of questions that I would hear whenever I was about to hook up with like a guy who was like straight or questioning in my early 20s and like my teens. That's always how it happened. It was like there would be I never would provoke a straight guy into being like, you should hook up with me. There was like one guy that I was like, please just hook up with me. And he wouldn't do it. But, and you know, more power to you. But that was always like the telling tale of like, oh, this is like, this guy's curious. Like he would ask a lot of questions about what it was like to be gay and like what, like, or it would be like, so do you think guys give better head? And it's like, well, yeah. That is 100% a like.
That's the next question is, and you're like, I don't know. And they say, we should find out. Like,
Yes.
that's
It's
how that
always-
porno goes.
It's always that. Like, it's always something like
that's a tale as old as time.
In my life, I've hooked up with 8 guys who identify as straight.
Okay.
And like,
It's weird, you know the number, but
oh, I keep like a
I
little
know,
tally on
I
my
know.
bedpost.
on your phone.
Joe looks so disappointed in me.
I'm not disappointed. I thought when we prefaced the story, it was Ricci's story of flipping someone. I was like, oh God, this isn't a flip. None of these are a flip.
None of these are really a flip. Like
Your flip was a flop, is what I gathered.
Wait.
when you actually asked a real straight person to hook up with you.
guess-
Oh yeah. So I guess
like, yeah, I never really like fully flipped anyone. Like they always just kind of came to me. Yeah.
They
And it was
came to you?
in me.
Exactly.
And that's always how it was. I don't think, I've never like tried to like coax someone into gay sex. I'm sorry, Adam. I told the story wrong.
No, I didn't even think about it till you. I thought flip was just like
Just getting a straight guy to do it. And I guess flip.
flip is like the damage is done now. Like this
there
is
was,
all you will
there
ever
was no
want.
damage. There's no damage.
Yeah.
5 years.
Oh, actually, no. Okay, so that first guy I talked about, right? His best friend we were also friends. And like, so that first guy I was talking about, he and I had a big fight like our sophomore year, and we didn't talk to each other for a while, like the beginning of sophomore year. And then like we made up and everything was fine after that. But in that time, he had a best friend named, I'm not going to say his name.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he had a best friend who also lived in our neighborhood, and I would hang out with that guy instead. And like, I like revealed to him that like,
Oh no.
me and this guy were like doing things sometimes. And I was like, yeah, man, blah, blah, blah. And like, I was like, you know, we should just be friends and hang out and stuff. And like, I kind of like coaxed him into thinking like, oh, like, you know, this is totally normal. A bunch of guys do this shit. And I got him to do what like me and the first guy would do together. And I remember like, I was such a bad kid.
Manipulative, methodical.
I remember thinking like, this is a great revenge moment for me. Like,
that is Ricci Armani, everyone.
And I don't do that anymore, but I had just watched Cruel Intentions. So
Well, now it all makes sense.
yeah.
God damn. All right, guys. I know you got a place to go, Joe. What can you guys plug before?
When's this coming out?
Not for like a few weeks. So
Great.
Your podcast.
You can listen to my podcast, Social Studies Podcast, listen wherever you want, or watch on YouTube. If you're in the Cleveland area and watching this, you can come see me at Hilarities in the middle of July. I think it's July 13th, 14th, 15th, but you can double check my website, Mr.D3.com. I'm announcing all of my fall tour dates this August. Stay tuned.
I host the Pretty Dumb podcast, and you can get that on Apple, Amazon, and Spotify. I host it with Courtney Byrd. And I'll be on the road with Joe in Salt Lake City and Boise, Idaho.
Woo woo!
Yeah.
Social media stuff for you guys.
Oh,
Instagram?
at Ricci RICCI_Armani on everything. TikTok, Instagram, but both, please.
At Mr. D ×3, that's MRDTIMES, the number 3, and everything.
Cool.
Thanks
for coming on.
Thanks for having
Thank you.
us, Adam.
And before we go, just reminder everybody, hit the like and subscribe button if you're watching us on YouTube. If you're just listening, rate and review us, and make sure to hit the notifications bell so you don't miss our content. As always, follow us on Instagram at FNFpod. We're going to leave you with Jaga.
I just make the waves, I don't write them. I can hear the lyrics in my spirit as I write them. Why you wanna walk and talk just like them? I can't get caught up in all the hype and the excitement. I just make the waves, I don't write them.